Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess to do your What's Cracking reading. Before I go into today, I want to say a huge thank you yesterday. You know, every now and again, I'm human like everybody else. I need to have a gripe, and I griped yesterday morning. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I want to say to you was the response to that was amazing. And I always say you don't have to stick up for me. I just need to air my grievances, and that's fine. I get that. But I actually had some incredible donations and promises to help me set up a proper studio. One in particular, I want to say a huge thank you to, because I just was so overwhelmed by what you sent through. And I want to say you are amazing. Thank you so much. So, because the times at the moment I can't do a lot with this, I'm going to set up a fund and put everything in a separate bank account so that once we get round to being back to somewhat normal, I will bring someone in to help me set up a camera and some lighting, etc. I do what I can with what I've got. So I do have a couple of ring lights, and I'm still not really sure how to assemble them. My daughter bought me one for Christmas. So I will be putting the funds aside. So if you still would like to help me out there, please do. And we'll put all the money into a fund. And then when things get back to normal, I'll get a sound technician in to give me some clues and hints and buy the equipment that I need to do this so that you can hear me better, see me more clearly. I'd like to have the camera ideally above the cards so that you can see the cards. So there's some great ideas here. And I just want to say thank you, all of you, for your support and love, because that was overwhelming yesterday. And probably, you know, we're all a little bit vulnerable at the moment and all a little bit sort of sensitive to things, and I'm the world's most sensitive person at the best of times. So please take my thank yous on board, but more so the love that I have for you for helping me do this. I'm so excited about it now. I can't wait. I was like, I've got this now and I can't do anything. So anyway, so today is, and if there's any way I can repay you guys, if there's any way that I can in any way, shape or form repay you, please let me know. Okay, so today is, oh my goodness, I think it's Friday. It's Good Friday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Good Friday. So it's the 10th today, and this is your reading for the weekend. Although I have still got, someone's dealing with earth signs here, although that might be me at the moment, being I'm feeling really good about my financial situation. What I would like, I'm still going to do some extra readings, and I'm still going to book in some, because I figured most people are at home at the moment, so I probably can still do some lives on Facebook. So that is my intention. I'm not going to read those. There's some sort of message coming through here from an earth sign. So if you're dealing with an earth sign, you're about to get some sort of contact here. And I'm going to do some extra things. So I am officially on holidays now, so which is really nice. So I'm using the Golden Tarot by Cat Black. Oh, that's beautiful. What a perfect card. I had this amazing dream last night. I dream a lot. I dream very, very vividly. And I have great detail in my dream. And in my dream last night, I had this beautiful man with me who was really absolutely beautiful, and he kept stroking my hair. And everybody was making a fuss of me. And it was such a strange feeling to me, because I think I've said to you for many years, I sort of felt like I was invisible, that people didn't really see me, and it took a lot to understand why that was. But in my dream, I was the centre of attention, and I so didn't feel uncomfortable with it. But this beautiful man kept stroking my hair, so I'm going to do a little bit of research later to find out who was the beautiful man stroking my hair. It was very, very pretty. Okay, so we have the world here. Now, the world talks about finishing out a cycle. And the cycle here is often sort of, well, you've got to remember the world is like the end of the major arcana tarot. So you've been through the whole process here. You've done all your lessons. You've moved to this one, and now this lesson is finishing up. For many of you, this is around cycles you have in your own life and your own patterns of behavior or habits that are no longer serving you. And the universe is saying now you can release these. They no longer suit your needs. You've outgrown them, and you can get rid of them now. They're just no good to you anymore. Okay, so when I see the Two of Cups come up after this, I think, well, maybe for some of you, this is about closing out some sort of relationship or pattern of behavior within relationships. The universe is helping you close something out. And if the Two of Cups are here, it could be some sort of, this is often a soulmate bond, but maybe you've come to a point in your life where this particular, it may not necessarily be a relationship, it may just be an illusion of a relationship, a memory of someone, an attachment you have to someone, but the universe is saying it's time to close it out now. It's no longer of use to you. Yeah, and it's creating pain. So I think for some of you here, I'll come back to this one. This says to me that a lot of you are hanging on to a situation, and it doesn't mean that you have to forget the person. I always say you don't have to forget how much you love the person, but you need to let go of the attachment here, because it's creating pain revisiting it all the time. Now, I probably would like to, over the next week, do a talk on attachment and abandonment issues and how to work with that and how to try and resolve it. But sometimes we have trouble letting go of something, and this is what we're trying to understand here and what we're trying to close out. There does seem to have been some sort of offer here that left you sad. So you could have had some sort of offer from someone who never came through and left you sort of up in the air about something. And there goes my alarm. And this may, hang on a second, I'll leave you with this for a moment. I woke at 3 o'clock after my beautiful dream this morning, went back to sleep, and thought I'd just set the alarm just in case I did oversleep. So this is about letting go of something. Letting go of something that's been giving you pain. I feel like someone made some sort of offer to you in the past, probably some sort of offer of love, but I think with this Five of Cups here, it never really came off. The Lover's card is behind that. So I have no doubt there's sort of unfinished business here with this person. But this is what you need to let go of. The energy that's surrounding it. So this is the energy of want, of desire, of outcome. Focusing on an outcome, trying to see an outcome. It's about control, but we'll get into that. Okay, oh, it's codependency. That's exactly what it is. So we may not recognize it as codependency because we have a lot of stuff from childhood that probably, how would you say, it sort of perpetuates this cycle in our relationships. So it's about abandonment issues, and it's certainly about attachment. But it's attachment to outcomes, attachment to desire that you have to let go of. So it's about trusting the universe. So the universe is saying here that there is a situation that they want to bring to fruition, but you need to let go of the attachment to outcome in order for that situation to come to its full cycle or its full circle. And when we, there's an Ace of Wands. So yes, very passionate new start coming through here, but learning to work with your codependent nature. What happens is we form a bond with someone through some sort of connection with them, whether that is, destined, ordained, or by spirit, whatever. And we form this attachment. And the attachment is forever visualizing how the future might be, or forever foreseeing, trying to control a happy ending, trying to see how it's going to work out, trying to see when they're going to come back. And that feeling of trying to control it gives us this overwhelming desire. And it's the desire you've got to let go of. Now that's really hard, and I get a lot of people saying to me, how do you work with the desire? How do you then get rid of that? And for a lot of people, meditation is the best answer. But the understanding is more important. So the understanding of why you're doing what you're doing, why you're putting yourself through this cycle, this constant cycle of pain. And what happens is very often we sort of get a grip on it, and then after a while we realize we're doing it again and we go back. And the big thing here is to observe what you're doing, and to understand that when you're doing it, to acknowledge that why you are doing it, but then to allow it to release. Again, that's not the easiest way to do it, because sometimes we get a sense of satisfaction through that suffering. So that suffering and pain and desire of wanting an outcome is so great that we are unable to release ourselves from that suffering. And this has come up a lot lately. And it's really strange, because this whole situation that's going on in the world at the moment, we have no outcome. We have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea, of our own personal safety. We have nothing at the moment, but we have to trust the universe. We have to trust whoever's doing whatever they're doing. We have to trust people are all doing the right thing, and all we can do is rely on our own resources. And of course, this is what we're being taught. We're being taught that you have to rely on what you've got. There is nothing else. There is no outcome. We can't predict an outcome. We can't control it. People talk about free will, but the only free will you have here is just to disregard everything, go and do what you want, which of course may not be helpful to most of you. So this is about having a new start through releasing past energies, through releasing past hurts and pain, through releasing suffering. And we have the Hierophant coming out. So again, we have major arcanas everywhere, and the Knight of Swords. So you may have been left in a situation where you weren't being given any answers. So this pain here comes through not really knowing what's going on, not really understanding what happened within that situation. And a lot of us, when we don't have answers, try to seek our own answers, try to seek our own outcomes. And the universe is saying here that you can't do that. You can't put yourself through that pain every time, trying to work out what went wrong, what was said, what was done, what was your part. Just release it. We have the Temperance card, because you need to bring in balance. Okay, and this is about you bringing yourself back to who you are, remembering who you are, and walking away from emotional pain here. Okay, High Priestess. So major arcanas right through this reading. This is about tuning into your own intuition and letting go of your fears, what's keeping you awake at night, although my dream last night was pretty hot. 5 of Coins here. Okay, so let's have a look, and I'll go back to this. Okay, so we have the 5 of Cups here and the Knight of Cups. They came up before. This is how the cards came out. So we're closing out some sort of cycle here, and I feel like someone's brought you to this. So there's been some sort of relationship, some sort of occurrence with another person that is teaching you to look deep inside yourself at the pain and suffering, so that you can close out this cycle. And there's the pain and suffering. For many of you, this is to do with another person. But I feel like somewhere along the way you were offered something that somebody didn't come through on. So you may have been offered a relationship. It may be love. It could be a family member here that you're beating yourself up about. It could be anybody that you're dealing with. But this person came in to teach you the lesson here. So don't lose sight of the fact that this is your lesson to learn. There is no blame here. There is no blame whatsoever. This is to teach you about codependency. It's to teach you about you know, putting yourself through suffering time and time again, and putting yourself into this very sad space of feeling quite down and depressed, or hanging on to something that no answer is there for. And it's about understanding that you can't control things. You have no control over this. If somebody has chosen not to love you, if somebody's chosen not to speak to you, if somebody's chosen to walk away and you found yourself alone, then there is no control over that. You can't hang on to the pain. It doesn't serve you here. So the lesson for you is to learn to release that, to walk away, close it down, walk away from this codependency. Now, codependency is something that some people don't really understand. So I'm going to try and sort of say it in the best way I can. So what happens when we meet someone or we have a relationship with someone? Sometimes we put their needs above our own. And that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, you do more for them in a physical sense. Emotionally is what I'm talking about. So you may have a relationship where you're dealing with someone who's very cold, maybe lacks emotions, sometimes could be narcissistic, but you're dealing with someone who's not returning your love to you or your care to you. And what happens in a lot of relationships, especially romantic relationships, we have such a strong sense of adoration for the person. When we meet them, we put them on a pedestal. So from the very beginning and from the very outset of that relationship, there's a power differential because you worship that person. And then what you do is you keep investing in that person. And if they're not investing back, the relationship becomes toxic, and eventually you can walk away from that. Now with codependency, the thing is, in some way, shape or form, you're actually dependent on that person for your own love, for your own verification of what you're feeling. Everything is invested in the other person to make you feel better about yourself. And then what happens is, if you invest in a person like that, or you put them on a pedestal, if they choose to walk away, and you're left with that feeling of not having that person anymore, it can create a great deal of need within you, and then you're looking for an outcome. You're looking for what you did wrong, you're looking for whether you could have done something differently, and you're looking at all the reasons why that did not work out. And then that creates that trauma bond then. And you can have a look up Stockholm Syndrome, because this is where it all comes from. Stockholm Syndrome was in regards to the kidnapping that happened many years ago. I think it was in the 60s, where they worked out psychologically how a kidnapper controls the person they've kidnapped through broken promises, basically. Where the person becomes so dependent on the kidnapper. So if you want to look that up to understand it a little bit more, you can do that. I just wanted to put a couple more cards on. Oh my goodness, we've got to 20 minutes already. Holy dooly. Because we're coming out at the end with... oh, there's a tower. I'm not even going to do any more. This whole thing here is going to create the energy of a tower. So the universe is coming in to break down this this sort of situation here where you're constantly looking at things differently. So you may have an epiphany, you may learn something that helps you to see and why you hang on to this energy, but you are certainly being led in the right direction by the universe. So this comes before the World card as well. So there's still a couple of lessons here, but you are certainly getting close to closing out this clinging on, this hanging on, this energy of being attached to something or someone. It could be a situation for some people, it's possible. It could be, you know, a job, but the desire and the outcomes is what you're trying to learn how to work with. This is the Ghost Dance. And it's card number 22, and I opened it right to the page. I love when that happens. Okay, so it's obviously very important. The ghost dance of the American Plains Indians united the spirits of the living with those of the ancestors to bring peace to the world. When the ancestors are honoured, they bring harmony to us. When we hold them responsible for all that is wrong with us today, they haunt us. Honour the spirits of the ancestors and receive the lessons and gifts. This includes honouring your own past lives. So don't think that you may have brought all this with you in this lifetime, because some of this can come from past life experience. The ancestors have a message of healing and a powerful medicine to offer you. Create a sacred moment at your altar, light a candle to them and let their wisdom infuse you. At this stage in your life, you are done repeating their tragic stories. Step into the abundance that is offered to you, receive the gifts of those who've come before you, and write a new story for your life. What a perfect card for that reading. And 20 minutes. Broke all my rules, people. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely weekend.